Our first interview is with World War II spy Jack Lasso, and he's here with me now. Jack, how you doing today?
I'm all right. Richard, is it?
It's Richard, yes, Richard White.
Well, I'm pretty good. I'm Jack Lasso.
And-
Anti-fascist American cowboy.
I did not know about the cowboy. Would you like to get into that first? Because that's the
Sure.
only part that was...
I've got a cowboy hat on right now.
I noticed.
I've got a mustache.
I didn't
as all
notice.
cowboys
that's,
do.
That's surprising. I did not notice your mustache, and there it is. It's right on.
Yeah, I would say it's quite prominent.
It's right on your face. I don't know how I didn't know, but I didn't. But the hat, it's nice. It's made. Is that a crocodile skin hat?
It is.
Crocodile?
Straight from the crocodile. Straight from the bog.
Are you also like a swamp person?
I am.
You're.
Swamp people, as you may know,
Of
frequently roam through swamps on misty nights, scaring children. There are swamp lights adding to the atmosphere.
I believe there's a TV show on the History Network that is akin. It's called Swamp People, and I believe it's quite like one of those ghost hunters show, but they're hunting swamp people. Isn't that right?
That must be the case. Otherwise, I'm not sure what it would be about unless there's some sort of swamp community of regular humans who live in a swamp.
But are you yourself a swamp person?
No. When I meant that I was a swamp person, I mean like I enjoy swamps. I'm a big swamp guy.
You're a swamp guy,
You know what I
of
mean.
course. It's like a dog guy versus a cat guy, of course. You're a swamp guy.
Yes,
Swamps
exactly.
Okay.
I prefer swamps to marshes.
Well, there's not much to do in a marsh.
No,
It's just like-
there's too much grass in a marsh.
And I think you can sink into it like quicksand or just like up to your knee and like die there.
That's most likely the case.
Is this ever has anything like this ever happened to you? Have you ever come across any dangerous situations on a marsh?
In a marsh, there are holes sometimes that snakes burrow into, as snakes are known to do, causing a lot of problems with stepping around. You lose your boots. My cowboy boots. One time I lost a pair of fine leather cowboy boots,
But you must have
as cowboys wear.
You must have won a couple of these tussles because your entire pants are made of snakeskin.
Oh, yes. Well, once you step on those snakes in the snake holes, you get them and you skin them and you turn them into pants.
How big of snakes are these? Like
One
garden
time I
snakes,
found
or?
a boa constrictor, and that's just a pant leg right there. You don't even need to fashion it together.
I noticed that, like the left leg, especially down at the bottom, it's got like a lot of smaller snakes, like very stitched together. But this is just one.
Yes, you might consider them patchwork for
Yeah.
one leg, but the other is fine.
This
no
is
seams,
like-
nothing.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but you are upping the punks on a phenomenal scale. It's horrible. Like it's horrible treatment of animals, but this is the sewing together of. It's very crude. It looks like it was done with dental floss. Like
I have heard of these punks you talk about.
Yeah. Are you associated with them at all?
Not at all, no.
No. Okay. Well, still, they would respect you, I believe. The ones that are not animal rights activists.
Animals have no rights.
How did you come across the crocodile?
The crocodile was in the swamp. What do you think?
I guess, yeah, you're in swamps all the time, but like, it's not story worthy the time you actually took it down?
Well,
Just a regular.
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Not compared to my other
Wait,
exploits.
And that's not this kind of show. We're not talking about like feats of strength or anything. It's not Festivus. We're not talking about the feats of strength.
No, I would say this is more about political intrigue.
Yes, we really haven't
If I'm
even gotten
correct.
to the we really haven't even gotten to the heart of the matter. We've talked about being a cowboy and a swamp person, a swamp guy. Sorry, a swamp guy. You're not a swamp person. Are you against the hunting of swamp people or like the
swamp
eradication?
Well, I'm not sure if there is existence in reality.
I guess yeah. It's a speculative. It's like the ghost hunting show. It's very speculative. But let's get on to the main matter. You were a spy in World War II, and you actually contacted me and said you wanted to talk about this on the show.
Yes, I have spent quite some time in Mussolini's regime, as they called it back in the day. And it's not a laughing matter. It is a very serious fascist regime linked closely to the Nazis.
Oh yes, Mussolini's regime was.
Well, sir, you're making a mockery of my profession, and I do not appreciate it.
I'm so sorry. I will contain myself. I'm very sorry. Now, you infiltrated Mussolini's regime as an American.
As an American barber.
Oh, you didn't even put on an Italian accent. You didn't fake an identity as an Italian citizen.
An Italian immigrant to America. The whole spaghetti pasta meatballs thing that they had, the stereotype.
Do you mean Operation Spaghetti Pasta Meatballs?
Exactly that one.
The Italian government's infiltration of America through
immigration.
Through immigration and racist stereotypes of Italians.
Exactly. Yeah, butcher shops, pizza places.
Yeah, they came to America and they fulfilled this stereotype by opening exactly these types of establishments and dominating the community. Like, now Italian butchers and Italian hairdressers are like the only race that a lot of racist people respect.
Yes, and because of this, I ended up becoming an American-Italian American spy in Italy.
That's fascinating. And did you ever have an Italian accent?
No.
No.
I was born in America. As a cowboy.
Okay, so the chronology is you were born in America, then you went to Italy as a spy, then after the war you were put in the Operation Italian, or the Operation Spaghetti Pasta Meatballs, where...
No. My parents were from Operation Pasta Spaghetti Meatballs. And
that's what you called it as a child when you didn't...
Of course, yes.
Pasta Paschetti Meatballs.
I was such a young child. Very young.
Couldn't even pronounce spaghetti. It's adorable. So your parents were part of this operation. You were born in America. Then you returned to Italy as a spy for the Navy, or for which organization?
Just America in general.
You're just working for America. Were you sent there by the president directly?
Directly by the current president at the time. I will not mention his name.
We all know who it is.
Yes.
We don't need to. So you were sent there by the president, and you were supposed to infiltrate, like, the governmental upper echelon. I don't think that's a word. But you were supposed to infiltrate the upper end of government.
The personal dealings of Mussolini himself.
And by the way, have these stories ever been shared before? Is this an exclusive?
Exclusive, yes. They're not classified documents or anything, but
it's just you're the only person with the knowledge.
No one's ever requested anything such as this from the government.
Well, I'm glad you're so forthcoming with it. So you infiltrated Mussolini's regime, and you said that there was one piece of information coming in today that you were very excited to reveal. Is there I guess start from the beginning. What was it how did it begin? You infiltrate. How do you infiltrate?
Well, I got a job in Italy as a barber.
Really?
Of course, I was already a barber in America, or they had set up this, I was already a barber, with the quotation marks that I'm doing with my fingers. And
I see, yeah.
As in, I wasn't, that's what I'm saying. They had set up a fake identity for me.
But were you actually trained as a barber, or were all your customers also agents of America?
I was trained in basic barbing skills.
So you were a barber, but you were also a barber.
Well, I didn't go to barber school or anything, but I can cut a hair or two.
That's fair. Now you're wearing your hair under a hat. Are you balding?
I am not balding. I'm a barber. I have very thick hair.
I was going to say the irony.
I'm a cowboy.
Cowboys never lose their hair. Don't worry, we will get back to you being a cowboy. But I was just thinking of the irony of a bald barber. It would be so... I don't think it's unheard of, though. Is it allowed?
I've definitely seen it in my time.
In your time?
Mussolini himself was bald.
Really? I was not aware.
Well, he had just a few stray hairs that he needed cut.
Okay, but he was bald on the top of his head, is what you're saying.
Primarily, yes.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't think that was well known. But so you're trained as a barber. Are there any other people in your unit per se? I'm just going to call you Agents of America because I don't know what else to call you, and that sounds really good. That sounds really like.
Well, I tried to establish an anti-fascist American cowboy barber squad at one point.
So everyone in the squad was a cowboy before. So
Yes.
okay,
Yes,
I'm still a bit confused. You're gonna have your parents were part of Operation Spaghetti Pasta Meatballs, and you were born in America as a result of that. So you grew up with Italian American parents. And were you first an agent of America, or were you a cowboy first? Cowboy first, right?
Cowboy first.
So were you trained as a barber before you were a cowboy?
No, I was trained in basic barbery by the American government.
Okay. So you just grow up with Italian. By the way, which stereotype did your parents fulfill? Which Italian American stereotype did they live their life as?
The spaghetti one.
Oh, they opened a spaghetti restaurant.
Yes, they had the dogs eating spaghetti outside. They made a film based on it.
Okay. Oh, that was them.
Yes.
Very interesting. So they probably had like a lot of. I'm sure they're dead now, but
Plenty of royalties from Disney.
I said that very insensitively. Your parents must be dead, right?
Of course they're dead.
Of course they're dead. You don't seem to care either. You're not.
I'm old. I was in the World War. Very old.
Too.
Very old. They're extremely old and dead now.
Extremely old and dead. Okay, yeah. So you're at peace with it. Your parents are dead. They're fucking dead. I get it. So you were a cowboy, and then you were trained as a barber, and then you infiltrated. So whose barber did you start out as?
Well, I just started out as a celebrity barber in Italy.
Oh, you already had celebrity
Well, to give me
status.
some credibility among Italians so that I could get in with Mussolini. He had to want to have the best barber, of course.
Okay. And how did was there like a barber competition or like a round robin or to the death style competition that made you, like, how did you get this status of celebrity? This is probably me being extremely racist, but is Italy not just like overflowing with barbers?
No. Well, maybe compared to America. I did have to go through a barber contest where there were 100 or so barbers competing to cut the hair of a local playwright.
Local playwright. Okay. And sorry, I just blanked there. So what was the format of the competition? Like what happened when you were eliminated?
Well, it was whoever could cut off all of the man's hair the quickest.
And 100 people competed? Was this a man who could regrow his hair at will?
Well, there were multiple men.
Oh, you had 100 playwrights.
25. Most of the competitors did not complete the task.
Okay. Why do all the playwrights in Italy have to be bald?
It's a macho thing.
Are playwrights considered to be like athletes? Excuse me.
They do a lot of aerobics. I know that.
So you win this barber competition, and what was your time for cutting the all the
25 minutes. Quickest in town.
And that was the quickest?
Yes.
I thought it was going to be like, I thought you were going to say like a minute and 30 seconds.
Oh, by God, no.
That's quite a discrepancy. It took you 25. Are these men with extremely long hair?
Well, shorter than Fabio, but still quite long.
I must say, your knowledge of Fabio and spaghetti and barbering, like you really,
you can tell I'm an Italian.
Well, I was gonna say I can tell that you're a spy with dedication who just completely got into his Italian character. So you became Mussolini's barber directly.
Yes, yes.
And I believe, like, so what was it? What is the revelation? What is it that you...
Mussolini, although bald on his head,
Yes, we have established that.
the real Mussolini was covered in hair because he was, of course, a moose.
A moose.
Of the horse type.
Yeah, a moose.
Cowboys, right?
Mussolini.
Similar to a cow. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them here. A moose, it has antlers. It's similar to a cow and a horse.
It's like it's the biggest historical secret hiding in plain sight, right in his name.
Well, of course, there was the figurehead, which was Mussolini. Very, very secretive, very good cover up there.
So was there a man, like, was it one man who pretended to be Mussolini for the whole World War? Or was it just a series of
body doubles?
A series of body doubles that all took orders directly from the moose.
The moose, yes.
And how was that communicated?
Well, the moose, he liked to dance. But early on in his life, as a young moose, they realized it was Morse code, of course. He invented it. It wasn't this Morse man.
So it was originally Moose code.
Yes, Moose code.
Moose code.
Morse, of course, changed his name to Morse. That wasn't his name in the first place.
Samuel Morse, he was part of the cover-up.
Yes, exactly.
So this had been going on for like much before the World War.
This goes way back, yes.
This is an Italian conspiracy of the ages.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So he was speaking in Morse code, and he expressed the desire for fascism.
Yes, he wrote a manifesto through his stomping with his hooves.
And who was it that dutifully sat there and transcribed it?
Well, it was Morse, of course, in the first place.
That bastard. Wow. Wait, how did he establish it from scratch? How did it just...
Well, he just listened to the pattern.
Okay. I'm starting to feel like he does deserve most of the credit.
Well, he did try to steal it to make money off of it, though, and implement it in war instead of just fascism as Mussolini originally intended.
So Mussolini did have a desire to oppress the people, and like this moose was kind of a dick.
Yes,
he still was like.
And American cowboy anti-fascists do not support Mussolini.
So was this league ever established, like officially, or was it like
which league?
The American
squad,
anti-fascist cowboy
squad.
A squad.
But,
okay, sorry, not a league, a squad.
We only ever gained one other member.
Oh,
and I can't disclose his name at this time. He is still an operative.
Still an operative. I was going to ask if he died in combat, but he's still an operative. So is he infiltrating any current well,
I couldn't quite reveal that sort of information at this time.
Okay, I was going to wonder if there were any other any other big news, maybe
we wouldn't want to put him in danger.
No, of course, but what if Gaddafi's a giraffe?
That's a good question. He may be.
This could be being investigated right now. So Mussolini you infiltrate the Italian government, and Mussolini is a moose, and this must be shocking.
It was, because when they said he doesn't have that much hair to be cut, and then they showed me his head, and then the body's there, and I'm like, what is this? Is this a joke? Playing a practical joke on me? But then I found out that was the moose.
And how did he go bald? Was it the stress of being in charge?
Of course it was. The stress made him go bald. But just on his head, because that's where the stress comes out.
I mean, I've never heard of a bald moose before, but I've also never heard of a moose in charge of a government. So I don't know if moose have ever been... Is it meese? No, the plural of moose.
It's moose.
The plural of moose is moose, right?
Exactly. It's not meese at all. You might be thinking of mice.
Yes, the plural of... No, mice is the plural of mouse.
Are you sure about that?
I think I think Meese is the plural of Samuel Morse. Yeah, Meese is more than one Samuel Morse.
That must be it.
It's a Meese. So this moose who goes bald because of the stress. So you cut his hair, and I'm sure you're. I mean, even though turns out you're a spy, but you're sworn to secrecy, as all barbers are, because you got to reveal your most juicy secrets.
But the fact is, I was not a real barber, so of course I was feeding this information back to the American government.
Of course, but you were sworn under the ruse. You were sworn to barber secrecy, and thus allowed to know all of Mussolini.
But of course, the oath can, as a barber, it starts with that, of course, and because I'm not a barber, the oath doesn't apply to me.
That's fair. If it began with as an American spy, as
That
an
would be a
American
different story.
cowboy, as an American cowboy anti-fascist spy, that would all apply to you.
Yes, and I'd be sworn to secrecy in that circumstance.
But this was not the case.
No, they didn't cover their bases.
This is why Germany and Italy fell. They weren't prepared for cowboy anti-fascists.
Exactly.
And
that.
they should have been.
Cowboy anti-fascists are a major force in war and government affairs, politics.
Are they still?
Not so much, because there's few fascist governments at the time.
That's
at
fair.
this time.
I'm embarrassed to ask you this, but is Gaddafi current or former villain? He's current, right?
I believe he's been murdered.
Has he?
Not quite sure.
Depends
on whether or not he's a giraffe.
Yeah, because if he's a giraffe, then his murder, if it happened, would have to be a cover-up because no human is capable of killing a giraffe.
Yeah, giraffes with their long necks, their head is too high up to be reached.
And a giraffe's body is completely like bulletproof and missile-proof, and the only way you can
That's
kill a
my
giraffe.
understanding. During the war, they ordered us, do not attack, do not engage the giraffes.
Don't fuck with giraffes. I think everyone, even giraffes, just look you in the eye and give you a vibe of.
The
"Don't
Nazis
fuck
were
with-"
studying giraffes, of course, for their own purposes.
I'm sure they were mechanically separating them and then binding them with chemical twins or identical twins. Is the Chemical Twins? No, that's the Chemical Brothers. They're an electronic music group.
Oh, well, they're good. Yes.
Yeah. They do that song, Block Rock and Beats.
I believe that's the case. That
Yeah.
is them.
Hit me with another one of those Block
My
Rock
favorite
and Beats.
electronic band as a cowboy.
Is the Chemical Brothers?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Are you a fan of the Dust Brothers? And do you get dusted? Both questions, please.
Well, there's a lot of dust in the cowboy world. Plenty of dust. We get dusty a lot of the time. It clouds your vision. You make poor decisions in the dust.
I'm sorry. No, that answer is satisfactory. I think I was implying something else, but there's no need to. There's no need to ask such questions. I'm sure you're not a man who indulges in narcotics, or are you? You're looking at me. Yeah, see, I knew I shouldn't have. You're just glaring at me as if I've disrespected you. So I'll stay away from that subject matter.
Very good.
You're very. I mean, you're forthcoming. You're not, but you're very reserved. You look like a person who doesn't enjoy being fucked with.
Of course not.
Well, I guess not that anyone enjoys being fucked with, but you look like a person who does not tolerate it. But so you're sworn to barber secrecy, not being a barber. Of course, you relay this information, but what kind of juicy, I'm hoping this isn't classified, but what kind of juicy secrets does a moose have? A stressed out moose.
That moose had a lot of anger issues that he didn't like people knowing about. Sometimes
Really?
his bald head would get bright red and he'd go on a rampage through the library.
Did he not like nerds? Was he against nerds?
He did smash a few nerds in his days.
So
Those
that's
science nerds were always trying to develop weapons for Italy, those Nazi science nerds, but he wouldn't let them. He'd get angry and smash all their books.
Man, a bald moose rampaging through a library.
And he had that bright red head.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to run a government. That's really how you.
I disagree. That's a fascist government you're speaking of.
That's true. Now, I'm wondering, just quickly, a thought that passed through my head. I wonder who edited the photos, because you can find photos online of Mussolini's dead body, or did they ever actually? There's the real question. Was the moose ever killed, or?
Well, obviously they did kill a body double. The moose, I'm not sure where he went. I never saw a body though myself.
I feel like he's still. I mean, of course, you don't know everything. You're a spy. You're not in charge of the. I feel like they still have. Moose live like what, 300 years?
Moose lives quite a while.
Yeah, especially. Although he could have had a heart attack.
He was an angry moose.
He was he was a stressed out moose. He was
Poor
bald.
health.
They probably, you know what? They probably did take him at the end of the war, but I bet he didn't last 10 years. Stressed out moose like that in captivity.
They didn't have good medical care in those facilities.
They did have Nazi scientists.
Well, that's true, but
That's like the best medical care of the time, which is kind of fucked up. It's kind of, but I feel like that it actually might be accurate that the Nazis were the best the best medics of the time.
it's possible.
That seems like a definite possibility. So what kind of, you said he's a very angry moose. Like, how's his relationship at home with his kids? Is there any of this? Are you finding out any of this?
Oh, he had no children.
Oh, how forthcoming of a man was he? Did he like to dish?
The moose liked me.
He liked you.
He shared his emotions with me.
And what kind of like escapades does a moose get up to when he's out?
Well, the moose had, of course,
Moostresses?
moostresses, as I was about to say. Moostresses is what the moose had. I was thinking of the word. I was thinking mistresses, but that doesn't sound right. It was moostresses, of course.
Wow.
Many female moostresses.
And all these who's keeping all this under wraps? Like, all these moose are just walking through government buildings, and he's getting moose pussy. And how is all this being kept from?
It's quite the sight.
You mean him getting moose pussy?
Yes.
You saw that?
Yes.
He really liked you. You were partial to some things. But
He tried to get me involved a few times. I was like, oh, whoa. I'm a barber here.
Whoa, I'm an Italian. Oh, wait, no, you never put on an accent.
Very offensive, sir.
That is.
Very ignorant.
I'm sorry, I forgot that you didn't put on any kind of an accent. And I'm aware that I'm ashamed of what I just did.
I suppose I could have been that sort of Italian. They do exist, but I don't think I would have got anywhere near the moose.
But you didn't have any
Moose,
accent.
as they called him.
El Moose?
El Moose.
El Moose. That makes sense. But I feel like, how did you, as an American...
It was Eel Moose. I'm sorry about that.
Il Moose. How did they trust you as a man with an American accent? An almost cowboy-esque accent.
Well, I was American. I was an American barber who moved to Italy and became a celebrity barber through the barber contest.
From Italian-American parents. It's a convoluted story, but it makes sense. There's no holes in it.
Yes, people are frequently confused when I tell them I'm an Italian-American barber.
Who's an American spy in Italy.
Yes.
It's really not an easy concept to put into sentence form. So he has moostresses, and he's getting moose pussy in his office, and he's asking you to be involved, and you never got involved. Never
involved.
That's good.
It's admirable, in my opinion.
It is admirable.
Many men have not had the same resilience and resistance that I have.
Self-control.
Yes.
I mean, it's tempting. It's not just, like, let's be honest, it's not just the moose pussy. It's the chance
They've got that musk.
Oh, yeah, of course. They got moose pussy musk. I think that was a cologne in the 80s.
I believe they referred to it, Mussolini referred to it as that stank-ass pussy.
That Mussolini, he was a dog, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a moose.
When he So, but I mean, yeah, not only do you have the allure of the moose pussy, but you also have the allure of sharing a sexual experience with the leader of a country, be he however moral, whatever kind of person he is. He's still a person of power and international intrigue, and he's a moose. I mean, you could double dog it, or you could double team.
I told you he's a moose, not a dog.
I don't know why I keep bringing up dogs. There's a lot of dog terminology associated with sex in the American language.
True. I think maybe there was an American president who was actually a dog. I'm not sure what happened there, but if you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, Dwight D. Eisenhower. The D stood for dog.
That's got to be it.
Dwight the Dog Eisenhower. Was he actually a dog, or was he just like in the classic sense, like the dog?
I'm thinking he might have been an actual dog.
Wow. See, I never considered that before.
Well, if you consider all the dog terminology that's prominent in America, it makes sense.
Was that the president that you were? Yeah, that's the president you were employed by, right?
I believe it was.
I believe so. Did he always just talk to you
about that?
Yeah, there's no doubt that that's the president who was in power during World War II.
He only ever spoke to me over the phone.
That's what. And like now that what did it sound like?
It sounded kind of breathy and
kind of like panting.
A bit hoarse, but not like a horse, like a dog.
Did you ever work for a horse? Well, you were a cowboy. Were you employed?
I rode a horse. The horse worked for me.
The horse worked for you.
I worked for the moose and the dog.
You don't take shit from horses.
No.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I think we should get lastly. Is there anything about being a cowboy or is that just incidental?
Cowboy is an all right life. It's an everyday thing.
Is that what you're currently doing?
Drink a lot of coffee, grow a mustache, wear a hat, snake pants.
So every day you shave off your mustache, and then the next day you have to grow one again.
Well, occasionally, if I'm in for a mustache ride that night, I can't shave it off.
So do you have a wife?
I have no wife.
Do you have mistresses?
Mistresses is the term that applies to humans.
So you still don't get tempted, like you don't like think about that, being surrounded by all these naked moose in heat, like.
Well, it doesn't happen that much. They're mostly in the woods, and I don't spend much time there.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened to you in like 40 years, but you never like think about. Wait, yeah, that's how long the World War II was. 40 years ago,
approximately.
You never think about that?
I think about it sometimes, but I'm busy with my many mistresses. I can't be thinking of mistresses.
Now it's time to talk about some of the people that made this episode possible, and those would be the fine people from Squelchers and the fine line of Squelchers milk products. Today we're going to talk to you about Squelchers jam. Colm, you love Squelchers jam, don't you?
Whenever I get it, it's like, wow, Squelchers jam.
It squelches.
It squelches.
Don't open it.
Do not use it as lubrication.
It will squelch any way you use it as soon as you open it.
Under no circumstances should you consume Squelchers milk jam.
It's not for human consumption, but I still love it. I love it.
If you do consume it, you're going to die.
If you use it as lubricant, you might not die, but the
consequences will be much worse than death.
Okay, what else does Squelchers got going on? There's a whole line of
Squelchers milk juice.
Milk juice is delicious.
It's juicy, it's milky. It's everything you could want in milk juice. It can be used in your car, your automobile. It can be used to lubricate the gears in your clockwork mechanisms.
This can be used as a lubricant, not as a personal lubricant.
No. Do not use it as personal lubricant. Only in mechanical devices.
Do not use any Squelchers products. You don't want the squelch.
Except for Squelchers new personal lubricant. For human consumption, it is partially safe.
You won't die. Oh, and the new line of Squelchers has recently branched out into firearms. Squelchers Jammies.
Yes.
The bullets are for human consumption.
Bullets are made of jam. You shoot them into your own face, into your mouth.
Is jam in a metal casing.
The jam is very soft, so it will not go through your esophagus out the back of your head. It will explode into flavor in your mouth.
Squelchers jammies for human consumption.
The gun itself is not. It's just a regular gun.
And also the jam is encased in like metal bullets with gunpowder and
you might want to really, I don't know. You don't want to shoot yourself with these guns.
So Squelchers jammies not for human consumption, I guess. What about Squelchers milk soda?
It's bubbly.
It's
got
milky.
The milk may
It's
go
real
sour.
thick. Oh yeah, you need to refrigerate it, and they don't when they ship it, so it's already gone bad.
I mean, it's lemon lime milk soda. It's
Sometimes
already sour, so you can't really tell if the milk is sour itself or it's just the lemon.
What happens when you consume this? Have you eaten any of your... You don't look good.
It was good, though.
You don't look good, though. You don't look...
No, I know. My skin is kind of yellow. I think my liver might be failing. But Squelchers has new liver products to be transplanted directly into your body. They're not for human consumption.
The new line of Squelchers milk-based pharmaceuticals.
Yes. A brand new Squelchers mechanical heart to pump Squelchers milk juice through your veins.
Not for use in human medicine.
No.
Not at all.
Mostly for tortoises.
Get it together. See what's happening.
Podcool features Colin Robson and myself, Richard White. You can follow us on Twitter at @WhiteTheRichard and at Daniel Frampton. That's DANUEL Frampton. Episodes of the show are now also posted to our YouTube channel. That's Podcool, a comedy podcast, where you can also rate and subscribe to the show.